I gotta tell you guys, I realize that after every time I put out one of these month-to-month videos, there's something that I left out. You guys get back to me about all these things that you're harvesting or what you're doing in the garden, and I totally forgot to include that into the video. And unfortunately for YouTube, I can't just go back in and edit that stuff into the video. But I think I got it figured out, and I know you're gonna like it. But I'm gonna have to tell you a little bit more about it in a little bit, because right now it's August. And what a fabulous time to be a gardener here in Hawaii. This is the time of the year that sets us up for winter's abundance. Let's dive in and I'll tell you exactly how. So even though it's summertime right now, this is actually the best time to be thinking about your winter garden, because what you plant now will be ready to harvest in the winter. So behind me, I cleared out a few of my beds and we're getting ready to seed a few winter crops such as beans, beets, broccoli, collards, kale, carrots, cauliflower, chard, cabbage. You can plant some heat-tolerant lettuces right now if you're in a rat lung-free zone. And even some late-season tomatoes and eggplants can be planted right now. If you're lucky enough to have a lot of space to garden with, try sowing a few seeds every 2 to 3 weeks of lettuce, radishes, and spinach so that you can have a continual harvest from now until the winter time. And if you choose not to have a garden this year, think about either at least mulching your soil or perhaps growing a cover crop to hold that soil in place for the winter and to help feed it for next season. And while we're busy seeding for the winter, we're harvesting the abundance of the summer still here in August. We have plenty to harvest in our veggie gardens. Tomatoes, cucumbers, eggplants, peppers, collards, kale, chard. All these things benefit from being harvested regularly. The more you harvest, the more they will produce for you. Our fruit trees are kicking. I got abiyus ready to harvest behind me. I got lemons, navel oranges, blood oranges, ulu, pineapple, lilikoi, coconut, star fruit, avocado, mango, jackfruit, guava, mountain apple, durian. Apples are growing in higher elevations right now. Mangosteen, meringue, cantaloupe, and other melons. You got nutmeg and coffee, longan, okra, dragon fruit, rambutan, long beans, lima beans, soybeans, strawberries, corn, all sorts of herbs like basil and rosemary, thyme, oregano. You have greens ready to pick and harvest like moringa, chaya, katuk, sweet potato greens, kalo leaves, tons of root crops right now such as cassava and taro and yacon and sweet potato, and there's so much more that I'm sure I'm forgetting about. That's why you're going to want to keep your eye out for what I got to offer you coming up. Now, what are you going to do with all this harvest? You could can it, dry it, pickle it, share it. Just make sure you do something with it. You put a lot of work into getting this food to grow, so don't let it go to waste. Make sure it gets eaten first, and then you can let it compost in the humanure pile. Now, after your trees are done producing fruit during this time of year, you can rake underneath the tree to try and get any old and unwanted fruits that didn't get harvested or any diseased leaves, and rake them out of there, and then go ahead and replace a mulch layer under there and put all that stuff that you raked out into the compost with the chickens. And the chickens can go through it and kill off any disease and pathogens. Then that can come back into your garden. Now, if you have free range chickens, you could probably skip this step. They're probably already cruising underneath your fruit trees and eating any fruit that fell, and any disease and pests and pathogens are probably already in their belly. Now, if you see any water sprouts or suckers coming up off any of your fruit trees, go ahead and prune them off. They're just draining energy from the tree and making it harder for your trees to grow up and produce fruit like they're meant to be. If you spend some time cleaning up your plants, getting rid of dead branches or leaves, and then giving them a little extra water and perhaps some mulch or compost, you might begin to see a whole new flush with some of your plants that might have looked a little bit past their prime. This is especially helpful with plants such as banana, bamboo, sugarcane, cucumbers, tomatoes, and squash. All those plants really can benefit from a little bit of extra cleanup every now and then. Cabbage moths continue to be a problem around this time of year. Just continue to pick them off by hand when you see them. Feed them to your chickens. But if you have a lot of plants that you need to take care of, maybe you could throw a row cover of it, of maybe a remake cloth, and that could help keep a lot of the cabbage moths out of your plant. Whiteflies are also still a nuisance right now, and you could try spraying them off your leaves or if they're really bad, adding sort of a soapy pepper water mixture and spraying them that way can help kill them off. But really, it's just a regular fight that you have to battle against the whiteflies sometimes, where every day you just got to spray them off. And as always, don't forget to keep applying that monthly application of fire ant poison. Around here where we are in Puna, fire ants are out of control. And my place, they've been starting to creep into my house because I've let it go for too long. They are horrible. And don't forget about those slugs as well. Go through at night with some tongs and a bucket of salt water and put those suckers in. It's finally time to start propagating plants again. Either in the spring or the fall is a good time to be air layering or grafting or just planting up seeds so that you can grow more fruit trees or more vegetables for your garden or for your neighbor's garden, or to pad your bank account, because it could be a great side business. To get ready for propagating, I like to make sure that I have all my supplies in order. I got my soil, my cinder, my pruners, my cutters, my knives, my rooting hormones, whatever it may be that I need to successfully propagate. I want to make sure that I have all the tools needed for the season. And then by the end of August, when conditions become more favorable, I'm ready to just start propagating as much as possible. Now, you can get a lot of those supplies from your local hardware store, but I'm also including a few links down below where you could get some of those items on Amazon. And whenever you shop through one of our links on Amazon, you're giving us a little bit of commission so that you can help support this channel and help it grow. So thank you guys, mahalo. So some plants that are good to take some hardwood cuttings of this month include katuk, laupele, moringa, chaya, rosemary, cassava, and other shrubs that might be growing in your food forest. I also start to like air layering some plants right now, such as bamboo, lychee, rambutan, and ulu if it's not fruiting. Get a couple of these plants potted up every season, and before long you'll have hundreds of plants to grow and share with your neighbors, so that we could all be living in an abundance of food. And keep an eye on your plants, guys. Just like you and me, they like to be fed. And so don't forget to feed your plants. Give them compost, give them mulch, spray some worm tea or compost tea, or make a little bit of a mix from fish emulsion and kelp meal to be able to make a spray that you can spray on their leaves. Just whatever it is that you can feed these trees, think about doing it. The more that you can feed your fruit trees in the garden, the more that they'll be able to feed you. Now, towards the end of this month, as we apply our last loads of compost, we may want to think about slowing down on the feeding. Trees are going to grow a little bit slower as we enter the fall and winter months, so they don't need as much. So August is about the last month when you're going to do this heavy feeding for your trees. Then after that, we're going to help them rest a little bit for the winter. Well, I know I missed something in there, but that's okay, because I told you I had a solution, right? Well, I'm going to take everything you guys have been giving me. I've been writing down all the things I've forgotten, and I'm putting together a month-by-month planting in the Hawaiian garden ebook so that you could have everything you need to do in the Hawaiian garden month by month for next year and all the years in the future. I'm working really hard on it, and I hope to have it out for you by December. So once again, everyone, thanks for watching. Until next month, my favorite month, September. Hui ho!